Okay, Francis McDermott, Fianna Fáil from Shercock. Francis, this is very close in this constituency at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's down now to a fine pin. It's any person, and there's 3 or 4 in the race, and it can be anyone's race at the moment, but I'm in for the last shout at this moment in time, but I wouldn't...
Well, you're happy about that, but as you say, you just don't know what's going to happen, isn't that right?
You just can never tell, and I thank all the people that would have voted for me, and thank all the people that helped me and everything like that, but at the same time, I can't say I'm going to be elected for the next maybe hour or an hour and a half to see what way it's going, but I'm in at this moment with a good shout. That's as far as it is at the moment. Okay,
so talking amongst the other candidates and stuff like that, how is the feeling, or what's the feeling? What's going on amongst the candidates?
How you mean, like?
How are they feeling? Like, do anybody have any idea of what's going to happen?
No, it's just so hard to call this one because there were so many in the field, such a big area, a sweet.
Is that why it's hard to call?
Well, in my case, you see, I'm in the smallest area, totally surrounded by Monaghan at my back. And I have to come out all the way to get a vote, and so I'd be maybe in the very, very tight area there where I am. Difficult to call it where, like bigger towns, bigger populations has better chances, but at this time I'm hoping for transfers to come from everywhere. That's really the way we have to be. You would never get elected in my area on its own unless you were getting a cross transfer over a good bit of the area, which is the way it is.
So the next hour, Francis will tell this story.
I'd expect so, and I'm going to say in the next hour and a half we'll have a fair idea when the next count's finished and the transfers are distributed. After that we'd know a bit better at that stage. Okay,
so that's how it is at the moment here in the centre for that area. Now, in general, Francis, did you get to look at nationally how things are going?
No, to be honest with you, we were more watching our own corner here for the last 48 hours, since this thing broke. It's just watching and keeping the thing going.
Okay. So far, were you surprised by anything so far? Any of the results? Or maybe you don't like to say?
Well, I just don't like to say because, there's some people, good friends of mine that's out, and there's some friends of mine that's in, and I don't know whether at this moment in time I'm in or out myself, so at this stage I wouldn't say anything like that. Yeah, well, you look around and you see some sad faces when after the results are called out and you see somebody is out of the running then, and you do see the sad faces, and that's the hard part of politics as well, isn't it? Well, I was in that position myself 5 years ago, and I know what it's like, and it's not an easy thing to take. To even stand for election, people doesn't realise the commitment you have to do, your family, your friends. Your whole life goes on stop for 6 or 7 weeks, and you're on the road and you're out and about and you're being told this, that and the other, and you're trying to make the best of it. I was a wee bit unlucky this time because I had an accident at the beginning of the campaign. It didn't totally stop me, but it definitely slowed me down for 3 weeks till I wasn't fit to move about and drive.
Indeed, you turned up for the debate with your arm in a sling, showed your conviction, didn't it?
Well, look, at the end of the day I would sort of face the music anyway, whether it was right or wrong. You just have to do these things. That's what if you put yourself up for public office or council office or whatever you want to call it, you have to be in a position to fight or defend where you're coming from.
I suppose that is the part of being a good politician. Even though you're defeated, even though you were defeated 5 years ago, you're willing to get up again and put yourself out there again and maybe take another defeat. But that's what you do, isn't it? That's what a politician does.
Well, it's not so much like that. I had a number of different commons in the area which nominated me to go for it. I don't know, I didn't just say I want to go for it when 4 or 5 different commons.
Well, if you didn't want to, you wouldn't go, but anyway.
Well, 4 or 5 outside commons nominate you to go, well then maybe that was one of the reasons I made a decision to go.
So maybe this time tomorrow you could be in, Francis.
One never knows. All we can do is cross our fingers and hope for the best, and at this stage it's anyone's game at the moment. Okay, well done. We wish you the best, Francis. Thanks for coming up and talking to Cavan TV. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Greenan Eugene, Sinn Fein, plus 142. Total votes 1,106. Mila Ainhead Isashay. Smith Sean, Fianna Fáil, plus 198. Total votes 1,331. Mila Tríchéad Trucahane.
Eugene Greenan, Sinn Féin candidate for the Cavan Belturbid area, has just been deemed elected. Well done, Eugene.
Thank you very much, Anya. Thank you very much. It's been a
long 48 hours.
It's been a long 48 hours. It's been a very quick couple of months and very enjoyable couple of months. I think we took a lot of people by surprise here by taking the 2 seats in Cavan Belturbet. Damien Brady, fantastic, vote there, so he got absolutely fantastic. In the whole area, 25% of the electorate voted for Sinn Fein, which is ahead of the average that's here. Now, I'd like to say, that I did everything here in Cavan. I didn't. There was a huge team behind me, a lot of effort in. We had Brian McKeown in the Cavan town for the last 15 years. Done a lot of groundwork for me. We had Charlie Boylan, who was in this area last time, did a lot of work. So, I reaped on those benefits and thankfully brought in a little bit extra that just got there in the end ahead of Patricia Walsh. It's a pity the Cavan town now will only have 2 councillors, myself and Madeleine Argue, but that's the way the cookie crumble, as they say. It would have been nice to have more representation in the town. The turnout was slightly lower in the town than we'd hoped for, and this is the outcome, but either way, Sinn Féin are delighted.
Okay, I don't know if you've been able to look at nationally what's happening, but you do know that Sinn Féin has got a really strong popular vote and is in there now. Can you see that changing maybe the politics from now on, or for the next general election, of course?
Well, we've got a general election, literally around the corner in political terms. We've seen a huge surge in the support for Sinn Féin. Hopefully we can keep that going for the general election. It's about picking the right candidates. The boundaries have changed. There's going to be less seats to be won. It's all going against us. That'll favour the bigger parties. But we'll do our best. I got a feeling we'll keep the momentum going. There's a good positive atmosphere both internally and with our supporters. If we keep driving that forward now and bring that down, 2 years down the line, we might be being optimistic by 2 years. We may have it well shorter than that. There's a lot of discontent in Labour after these elections. We'll have to see what happens there.
Okay, well done, Eugene. Go ahead now and celebrate with your family. Well done.
Thank you,
Congratulations
again.
Thank you very
much. Thank you.
Okay, Sean. Congratulations, you've just got your seat. You are the longest serving member on the council here today.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I was first elected back in 1979, and I wanted to extend my gratitude to the electorate and also to the party workers and also to my family. It has been a tough campaign. I always knew it would be a tough campaign, but thankfully I made it. But I am disappointed that Patricia wasn't with us in the end. But there will be another day. Okay,
so it was very close near the end, just a matter of a few votes here and there, wasn't it?
That's correct, yes. But elections are always like that.
Okay. At any time did you feel maybe I won't get this?
Well, as I've already said, I'm a long time around, and my people were telling me all along that I was fairly secure. So they were people of great wisdom, so I took that on board. And yesterday I had a lot of work to do. I'm a farmer. I was away for a long time, and a lot of things that weren't done, I tried to do them yesterday and get back in here last night. So you can take your mind off politics for a day. It's refreshing.
Okay, now we've got different. The council is laid out differently now due to the reshuffling and all that. Do you see any difference in how things might work now for you yourself?
Well, unfortunately, there are only 2 Fianna Fáil members. Both of us are far removed from Cavan town. Cavan town has.
Do you think that's disadvantage? That's a disadvantage.
It's a disadvantage for Cavan town, and it's a disadvantage to us people as well. I would have preferred to see an elected member from our party in the town. I'm disappointed that we don't have one, but definitely we will do everything in our power to do the best we can for Cavan town. We're entitled to do that. We were elected by the people. The people made their decision. We abide by that decision. We will work as we have in the past, trojantly, for the betterment of our electoral area and for the betterment of Cavan.
Okay, Sean, well done. We'll let you get back to the farming now. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, so with me now is John O'Hare, and John is the Fine Gael, and you haven't been elected this time. Okay, so we've spoken to people who have been elected, so what does it feel like not to be elected? Are you disappointed? Very disappointed, or what?
No, I'm not disappointed. You go into politics and you have to expect the highs. I had a great day 5 years ago. Today is the reverse of that. I have a great family. I have great friends, and I can go out there now and do the things that I really want to do. but I won't be walking away from politics. I'll still be involved in the Fine Gael organisation.
That's the sign of a good politician, really, isn't it? You keep there, you stay in there, and you will try again maybe someday.
The hair will be back.
The hair will be back. Okay, John, just one question I will ask you. Where do you think now your votes are going to go? Or where, do you think they're going to go?
I'm based in Knockbride, just outside Shercock, and I work in the town of Shercock. And basically, the votes there, I would assume that a proportion or a big proportion of them will go to Francis McDermott. Okay. He's my closest one to me. Yeah. And on the other side, Fergal Curtin should get a good spread of the votes that I got at Knockbride on over towards Lara and that. And in the Muddy side of it, I think Cavan Brady will pick up some votes there as well.
You know, the way the council areas have all changed and the number of councillors has gone down and all that. Had you any misgivings about that, or before, pre-election?
Not really. I suppose I'm someone, I come from a production background, and we have to get more efficient. A lot of people said it was the wrong thing, but I think a smaller council with a stronger voice, and that you have a mandate. In the last council were generally only glorified messenger boys, and I think that the people that selected, and I wish them well, those that's coming behind me, each and every one of them, and I want to commiserate with whoever lost their seats today.
Not everybody can win.
Not everybody can win, and it takes a great man or a great woman to put their name on a ballot paper. And no matter what party or none that they stand for, you have to compliment them.
I think actually we can see that today. It does take a lot of courage to put your name on a ballot paper and stand and see, what kind of vote you get. Well done. We wish you the best.
Thank you.
You will be working on the councils. I know you will be working again.
I certainly will be working again. I will be back in. I worked in a voluntary capacity for the Fine Gael organisation all my life. I will be back in there working again. I might take a break of a month or two to recharge the batteries, but I will be back in there again. We'll be back with a force to be reckoned with in the Vale area.
So the hair will be back. That's it. Thank you very much, John O'Hare for Fine Gael. Okay, and with me now is Brian McKeown, and Brian, as you know, is an outgoing council member going out, but he also is the uncle and the mentor of Eugene Greenan, who has just got his seat. Brian, I'm sure you're pleased.
I'm absolutely delighted, and not just for myself, but for the Sinn Fein party as a whole. Eugene's an excellent elected representative, and he's just part of a long line of young people that we have coming through, and we intend to bring them forward in the next 4 to 5 years. And I think next time we sit down here, there'll be an even stronger Sinn Fein return to the councils. As it is, it appears that the seats will work out 7-7-4, which actually gives Sinn Fein the balance of power regardless on Cavan County Council at the minute. Now, I had the balance of power for 1 year on the town council. For 15 years I nominated myself for mayor, and I only got a seconder once as Paddy Saxon. I didn't get any votes after that, but I think we've vindicated it here today, because whether they nominate us for the chair or not on the county council, we'll have a very, very big say in who sits in it. And believe you me, we have our reasons. We're not one-trick ponies. We have the policies and we have the people, and we're a party on the move. It's only just beginning.
With me now is Dermot Wilson, and Dermot is Director of Elections for Fianna Fáil. Dermot, things are going good so far, but we've had one recount.
Yeah, there's a recount underway at the moment that was called by one of our candidates, Craig Lovett from Killalagh, and he feels that the recount will benefit him to the extent that he would be elected ahead of his colleague Shane O'Reilly. Now, we had
a lot of stressed faces down there. We've had the camera on. There's a lot of stressed faces down there. So if you can give us a brief outline of what's going on.
There is, but I mean that's only natural. I've been in this room many times myself, both as an unsuccessful candidate and a successful candidate, and there are two very, very different feelings, as you can imagine, on you. There are two Fianna Fáil candidates down there. The outcome of this recount will elect one of them and eliminate the other. So there's a lot at stake for both of our candidates, Craig and Shane Fein.
Craig is very young. He's only 20 years of age, so he's got lots of time.
He's got plenty of time, but it's important when people exercise their democratic right in voting for a candidate that is carried out in open and transparent manner. And if somebody feels that they have a difficulty with what the outcome of the result is, they are entitled to have a recount, and that's what's happening here, Anya. As you will remember, 5 years ago we were in this room for 4 days arguing over one vote, and at the end of all of that recount after recount after recount over the 4 days, there was still one vote of the difference between Damien Brady and our candidate at the time. So it is important that the process is carried out in an open and transparent manner.
That kind
of seems to be an open.
That explains what's going on down there. But in general, some surprises and.
Yes.
And on a national level as well. I mean, there's no surprises and some surprises.
Yeah, well, I'm not very well clued into the national situation. Having been here for 16 and a half hours yesterday and again back here this morning. But there have been some high-profile casualties in this area, and I feel very, very sorry for those people, in particular for my very, very good friend and colleague Patricia Walsh, who missed out on election on this occasion. Patricia has been a very diligent worker for the people of this town and surrounding area for over 22 years, and it's a sad day that Cavan town won't have the services of Patricia Walsh for the next 5 years, but I have no doubt that she will be back. We've also seen the likes of...
Sorry, that's a point that was made there by Sean O'Hare, saying that now that there's fewer councillors, that he feels that it's a slight disadvantage that the councillors may not be from the areas where they have to take a seat or whatever.
Well, the reality of the situation, Anya, is that this so-called Better Local Government document that the government brought in, and I don't want to be political about this, this is a day where the people have had their say, and whatever their say was has to be respected. But we don't have local democracy anymore, Anya. We do not have local democracy. We have the Cavan Belturbet electoral area, which stretches from Black Lion to Mine Hall. Now, that is not local democracy.
But maybe hindsight will tell. Say in another 4 years' time, we'll know. We look back, hindsight will tell.
Yeah, well, no, I don't.
They'll have to work harder.
With respect, all public representatives, the 25 that were elected to the last council, no matter what political party they came from, worked very hard together on behalf of the constituents that they represent and on behalf of the entire county. Now we have a situation where you have fewer councillors who will have to do as much work and more without giving them the power or the resources to do that. And we have a situation where we have a town like Cavan with a population of over 10,000 people with 2 councillors to represent that area.
And no Lord Mayor anymore.
And no town council. So it's not acceptable. It's not local government. And this government or a future government are going to have to review the situation, in my opinion.
Okay, well done. Thanks very much, Dermot, and good luck.
And by the way,
rest
congratulations on Cavan TV are going from strength to strength.